Wait, hold on. Let me make sure.
Hey, we're live. What's going on, everybody in the Owwll community? We're going to have another amazing Owwll podcast here today, powered by Celsius Beverage. And you might notice we have someone different in the co-host seat. We got good old Jonathan Palmer joining us as co-host. He swore to me he would not drink 13 Celsius today. He said he's going to try to just do one or two during today's episode because it's only about 45 minutes long. And he has to be somewhere later tonight, and he wants to.
Well, I was planning on running there, so it would. I'd really prefer to have the 15 Celsius.
You did not tell me you were going to run there.
Yeah. It's only about 40 miles away, so
maybe we'll limit you to 4 then. Okay.
Sounds good. And I am so grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Jason. There's no way that we could replace Danielle. I'm sure she'll be joining you guys next week. But
Ellie now. She's now Ellie Santra, remember?
Ellie Santra. Is that what we're officially calling her now?
Oh, yeah. It's so hard, because half the people know her as Danielle. The other half is Ellie. On the mobile app, though, it's Ellie. She's gone with Danielle.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of do appreciate it in a way because it allows you to kind of like escape that online version of yourself. So I think sometimes titling it different is actually a good thing. Then I could have like my life outside of digital world, and I could have my identity, on camera, right?
I think I do blame you a little bit because you're the marketing guru, and you I think you planted that seed. And then she came back after an event and she's like, I'm going with Ellie.
Listen, Jason, it's called influence. It's not called manipulation.
Yes.
There was no manipulation
Positive
there.
Persuasion.
Positive persuasion. Yes. I love that. Positive persuasion.
Well, why don't you introduce today's guest for us?
I could introduce today's guest. It is Richelle Peña. She has legitimately built an 8-figure business. And what I love about Richelle's story is way before she decided to go online and start sharing her life, creating content, she went out there and built something real, which in the world that we live in today, Jason, you know how rare that is. So I feel super grateful to introduce her. She has a heck of a story to tell and share, and even maybe a way of being able to help all of you. So go ahead, Richelle.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Jason, for the opportunity, and Jonathan for your co-hosting this podcast. And I'm so excited to share my story.
Good.
I did not get the memo to wear black today. and usually
they're literally the owl colors, Jason.
And usually I am wearing black. Right? Isn't that interesting?
Well, I couldn't wear an owl
all matching.
I thought this was kind of like more shrimp tank mode.
It was a little bit. I've been wearing the black shirt a lot lately.
Yeah.
I have an event later tonight, so
okay.
I need to dress up a little bit.
Got it.
But I have them stored. I could always run just in case.
Of course, but the part that they're missing are the Nikes. Like, that's the best part of the outfit. There we go. Put the foot up. Thank you. That is by far the best part of the outfit. Y'all can't even enjoy it.
Now I could match my beverages.
There you go.
My Celsius, if you did not notice, this was not blue the other day, right? I knew I was wearing blue. So
right.
I'm like, and my sneakers, it's got to be the entire look, right?
Hey, by the way, Jason, you're in the presence of an individual that has built an 8-figure business. We have to ask her a question. I want to know how you do that. How I can't even conceptualize 8 figures. And I've had the benefit of getting to know you guys at a couple of events, and you guys just are so humble, so sweet, so kind, so light. Just give us something. How did you do it?
Man, how long is this show? No, I'm kidding. Because the overnight success took over 10 years. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is it took a lot of hard work. And I didn't wake up knowing that we were going to build this business. We started with passion, love, and it turned out to something bigger than we meaning my husband and I, because the business was a pediatric dental group. My husband's a pediatric dentist. We met in grad school, and I'm a pharmacist. So just take it back a little bit about my history. I'm actually a pharmacist, and I'm Asian. So I don't know. My parents were like, you have to go to some type of medical school. I'm like, no, I don't want to be in school that long. So I'm going to become a pharmacist. And so I did. And little did I know that was going to open the world of business to me. So I went from pharmacy intern to pharmacy manager at a Fortune 500 company, Target. And day one of business college, what they call it, they were teaching me how to do hiring, firing, building team culture. And I was like, wait, I didn't learn any of this in school. I only learned about drugs and how they worked in your body, but I loved it. And I was a sponge because I was young, hungry, and ready to learn. Fast forward that, my husband got a job and he's like, Richelle, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. Will you quit your 6-figure job, your cush job that you went to school for that I was still paying loans for, to help me build a pediatric dental group, I need your corporate knowledge, your corporate know-how. And I took the leap of faith and I said, yes, we built a business on a really big mission and vision. And it wasn't about the money. We didn't chase the money initially. We never chased the money. We always said, you know what, let's do something different. All of the people that we went to school with said, you guys are crazy. How are you serving this underserved population of children on state Medicaid, children with special needs, parents who worked on Saturdays? A lot of dentists back in the days, they worked Monday through Thursday. We were open Monday through Saturday. So we made a huge splash. We had a lot of naysayers. 10 years later, our friends were like, man, you guys were onto something. So
what were you chasing? You said you were not chasing money. Often entrepreneurs are, right? So what was it that you were?
We were doing, and whatever faith you are, but we were doing God's work. We knew that if we did the right thing, we were providing a service that nobody provided, something different especially in the medical space. A lot of pediatricians, they take all insurances. So what makes dentists different? These children also needed dental treatment. So we were really big on our vision and our mission, and also not being asshole bosses. We all have been there. I worked in a corporate world where it was do this, do as I say, and we wanted to build a team culture where the people that worked for us, they were building something alongside us.
And where are the locations today?
They're all over South Florida. So we have Doral, Kendall, Pembroke Pines, Coral Springs, Lake Worth, and a sedation center in Pembroke Pines as well.
I have to look these up. My kids may go there. I don't even know. I got to text my wife after today's episode.
Let me tell you, they do brilliant work. I had a niece go over there, and we got to experience something that I want to ask you about, Richelle. You call them wow experiences, right? And I feel like that is something that really makes your business stand out from all of these other practices. Can you tell us about the wow experience and why that can be transformational for other business owners to implement?
Yeah, living in South Florida, for anybody who's listening, customer service back in 2011 was like not even heard of. There wasn't that many Google reviews, social media, but we said, no, if you're going to make an appointment with us, it has to start from there, from the phone call. Somebody on the other line, if someone calls and says, my child just fell, I need to come see the dentist today. The next answer is not, okay, when do you want to come in? It's, I'm so sorry your child fell. I'm going to help you.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts from the phone call. And then when they come in, I had a rule, and I was really big on this because it happens a lot to me here in South Florida. You come in and they're just still typing. They don't even look at you.
The desk. Yep.
The desk.
The seat. You're like, hello, I just arrived.
Exactly. Well, when I was working.
But now it's the screen. Now it's just like check in over there. And then I'm like, do they know I'm here? Like, I'm like confused.
Right. I mean, I used to have a technician that that worked with me as a manager, and she would come and say, picking up, and I had to take her to the side. I'm like, no. It's, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
How can I help you today? And so I brought all of that customer service to the dental world because it was definitely lacking. And then when they got to the dental chair, guys, who likes going to the dentist? Nobody. Oh,
that one, our producer. She loves going.
Right. So, well, for the
she
one
also
person
loves misery, to be fair. So
we wanted dentistry to be fun and not scary. So they would go into the room. There's TVs over every chair. We had aromatherapy because I hate the way dentist office smells. And so we purchased lavender.
Nice.
Yeah. So
we might have to have you come into this studio and teach us how to do this.
Yes. Can you try?
Right?
Well,
we have a little mini one for like $20 recently, but I want the nice. Some of them get expensive though, right?
They do.
Some of those could be like $2-3 grand.
No. Ours was not 2-3 grand. But you know what? If you think about it, when you walk into an establishment, the first thing you do is you see and you smell.
Yeah.
And that's part of the wow experience. I wanted people to be like, do you guys live here? One kid asked me, is this your guys' home? And that was the biggest compliment because I knew that we were onto something big. And every one of our dental chairs, it's not like an office where you go in and there's 10 chairs back to back and you can like literally grab the next patient. Because of privacy, we were seeing children with special needs. We made semi-open dental bays where they had their own room. and it was great.
You expand it to adults because, like, I want this experience. I want this experience.
I feel like we're completely missing something that's in the
Yeah.
market that
Yeah.
would be so transformational.
You know what? And this is something for entrepreneurs. You're always evolving. You're trying to figure out what next best thing can I add? The answer is yes. We tried in our Doral location. We actually purchased two offices right in front of each other because we knew it was going to be big. It was right in downtown Doral, which, if you know, it's exploded. We tried adult dentistry, but I will say after a year and a half, it didn't work. It wasn't our field of
Interesting.
expertise.
Why?
Because we were so focused on pediatric dentistry. With pediatric dentistry, there's not a lot of selling. It's your kid's in pain. You need to do this. It's an infection. And as a pharmacist, infections don't go away. It's a bacterial infection. Whereas adults, we didn't like that whole selling part of it and the price haggling.
Yeah.
And you really need a good office manager who's also really good at sales. And then COVID hit. That was the biggest thing that we eventually parted from that.
I understand completely where you're coming from because you could try to hire someone out there and but they have to really believe in it. They have to welcome people and really like feel that passion, and it's hard. And when you get the better quality types of folks you're speaking about, there's a higher price tag.
Absolutely.
So then the higher price tag, and then everyone's like, well, I just want a dental cleaning at $125, and then yours is $200, and they just don't see the benefit of maybe being in a chair and watching Netflix, and then maybe you got a foot massager going at the same time, and just all the benefits that you're speaking about.
Yeah. I mean, we opened it in 2019, but in 2020, COVID hit, and the ramp up period, we said, you know what, let's go back to what we're good at, and that's kids.
And that's what I was going to say. Like the thing that I picked up on immediately is lack of alignment. When you really know what you're supposed to be doing, when it works and it works beautifully, then it's like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. But that idea of lack of alignment, I feel like that's kind of something that, we need to do self-checking when it comes to our mission and our vision and our values. Can you speak to that a little bit, Richelle? Is that something that's like really, important for your business?
Absolutely. After we sold the company in 2021, as you mentioned earlier, for 8 figures, which we never dreamed possible, and we're super grateful to God and to our team who help us get there. We were looking back and saying, what was it that got us from 6 to 7 to 8 figures? And it was the MVP3 method that my husband and I proprietized. I was working out of the gym and I was thinking of an acronym of what it took for us to get there. Number 1, and which is the M, is your mindset. For any entrepreneurs listening, the first thing you're going to do is self-sabotage yourself. I can't do it. And you're going to give up. And you need that. Number 2, it is your vision. You have to be so clear of where you want to go so that you can have your team, your patients, everybody rally behind it. And we did. I mean, they were sipping the Kool-Aid. I know that's not like the right thing, but
we all sip some kind of Kool-Aid.
Just switch
we
to
all
Celsius
sip
around here.
Yeah.
Or
Everybody was
Starbucks.
sipping the Celsius. So when you have the team on board, your community, everybody really behind your mission, your vision, and then when something goes wrong in your business, because I will say business is a roller coaster ride of ups, a lot of freaking downs. And you have to look back and look at the 3 things in your business, why something's failing. Is it the people? Or do you have the wrong person in the wrong seat? The process? Is the process of them calling to make an appointment bad and they're not getting in? And lastly is profitability. Do you even understand your finances? Us as dentists, a pharmacist, we had 0 accounting classes. And so we really had to dig deep with our accountant, look at our daily metrics. And that is what took us from good to great. And we want to help, other entrepreneurs, especially healthcare professionals who know nothing about business, take it to the next level.
I love this whole conversation because, I always say it all starts with time management skills. And what you talked about earlier, just like, texting people back, calling people back, smiling, the way you shake their hands, the way you do what you say. Because I feel like today, everyone talks about what you're saying, but then there isn't the execution on the other side. They're like, yeah, my mindset's good. And they do a quick 1-minute video, but then it's like they're not showing up for their clients and customers. Right. And then they tell someone they're going to execute something a month later. And then all of a sudden, like, something gets backed up. There's always excuses.
Always excuses.
So where are you going with this in the future? Kind of give us the vision.
Yeah. So the vision is to help other people who have little to no business knowledge, but they have it. They have it, the mindset. And we want to take them from good to great and really coach people and say, look, here is where your business is lacking. If you just do small changes, you can start to see changes in your business.
Okay, so are you going after the masses then with like group Zooms and course creation, for example, or are you doing it one-on-one? Because we see so many people, I run the podcast, The Shrimp Tank as well, which is all centered around entrepreneurs. And we see so many entrepreneurs sell their business and then kind of go down this path. They just have this want and this passion to helping others. But then there's one major elephant in the room. People that are starting businesses don't have money. Right. So then all of a sudden they're like, I loved it, but then nobody was writing checks. So if you go after the masses, right, then of course that works. So kind of give us, and you're good at this. So I know you've thought this through.
Yeah.
So like, what is the vision? How are you going to, not be another statistic like a lot of other entrepreneurs that did that? And then you see it all the time. They go back to buying a business typically. They don't start a business. They're like, okay, let's just acquire one that's doing $1 million in revenue. And I'm going to put all my skills into that and turn it into a $10 million business overnight. Right. So tell us kind of the journey you're going to take.
And what I tell you today might be different in 5 years, because I will tell you in a whole year, we went through, after the sale, I went through 2 years of, okay, I'm writing a book about the journey. I got bored as an entrepreneur. I was like, I've been working since I was in my early 20s. I love starting something small and watching that baby grow. Just like I have 3 kids, and while building a business, I love to see my kids grow and the influence that I have to the little human beings that they are today. So for right now, our goal is to really create online courses that's going to teach the business. But one big but, and for many people listening, when you're chasing growing a business, but you also have a family like us, we have also coined the GFB principle, and that's God, family, business. And this is something that, we didn't want to build this empire for 8 figures and look back and say, oh my God, I missed all these things with my kids. We have no regrets.
Sure. So
to answer your question, initially we were like, okay, we're going to do one-on-one calls. But that takes a lot of time. Yes. We almost felt like we were pseudo COOs doing the thinking for everybody. And what you tell them, they don't listen.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. So, we're on to bigger things, building our MVP3 model, really showing our niche, which is healthcare professionals, learn business, not like at FAU, like at a tutorial didactic, through storytelling, through really showing them, breaking down financial statements, how to create a mission and vision statement, and then we'll take it from there. But we are going to do a lot of, business to business and business to consumer, partnering with the right organizations to get us out there, because we did it, we built it. And there's a lot of, I will say, imposters. They think that they've run a business and they can now teach it. I think it's a whole different thing when you have the passion to want to,
and the proof and the evidence, the evidence of it, which is super
the sleepless nights, the bag.
Something that I find really unique, Richelle, and I will admit, I did get a chance to check out her course. When you were a pharmacist and you were like, I'm going to run my own practice, or I'm going to go work at my own place, or what have you, or when Will said the same thing, it's like, you think just because you are world-class at a skill means you can also run a world-class business, when those two activities could not be further from the truth. Isn't that right? Like when you were a pharmacist, or, when Will was doing his thing and thinking, okay, I'm going to start a business. It's like, didn't you realize there was a little bit more that you need to know when it comes to business than just being really good at the trade?
100%. It's like an electrician who's a really good electrician. I'm going to open my own business. I'm done working for that guy. Then they go into it and they don't know how to do marketing.
Right.
They don't know how to do their books.
Right.
They don't know how to schedule. I mean, I've seen it even.
The biggest is just marketing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest,
100%.
situation with most entrepreneurs is they're amazing what they do, like you said, and then they get out there and like, they're going to come when we build this office. Like, no one's coming.
Right.
And then you got to learn sales tricks, right? And they're like, I'm not used to selling, right? People just come into the office and I'm an expert.
Right.
Right. And that's those two, sales and marketing. It's not taught that much anymore.
It's not
trial by
taught.
error.
100%. When we built our business, we also don't have a marketing degree, but I will say in high school, I learned a huge lesson. I was a cheerleader and I had to get people to buy these beat tags. And I I didn't know it back then. I was doing what I was told. I would go to every single person until they said yes. And I realized that helped me from my little Asian quiet self to, okay, now I need to sell beat tags. I was an entrepreneur in the making. And then I would convince my patients on how to change their lifestyle and then just influencing my friends. I'm like, sales is easy when you have a passion for it.
Let's dive deeper on sales for a second. So, you ran that business for 10 years before exiting. Tell our audience like the 3 secrets of, bringing in new customers, because everyone's doing social media, right? And I see it on every business plan. It's like, here's my plan. We're going to do Facebook ads. We're going to do social posts, right? But like, come on, that's all the obvious stuff,
right?
Share with our audience, like, what are those 3 things? Like, I have some major secrets. He's got some major secrets, right? And a lot of people have specific niches, and then that's like the truth behind certain things, of course. So
right. So the biggest secret is don't look at your competitors at what they're doing. I wouldn't look at other dentists to see how they're marketing. I would look at Nike, Disney, anybody who had the same clientele as me. I'm a good copycatter. I was like, if they could do it, they're my clientele. I needed moms to really listen to. I was where moms were. So it's not just online. You had to be in the community. We had to be at events, in magazines, in movie theaters, billboards. And with marketing, you have to try different things and see what sticks. You can't give up just because it didn't work after a month. You have to give it at least 3 months. But for us, it was grassroots. I gave my husband a box of donuts. I was like, look, you're good looking. I don't care. Go all these referrals.
Yeah.
And I need you to give those girls a nice smile, give them donuts, introduce yourselves as a doctor, and let them know that we're new in town and we're ready to make a splash. And he did it.
Donuts are cheap.
Yeah.
Richelle, is that a module in the course about how to manage your husband and get them to solicit for your business?
Listen, working with your husband is not easy, but I will say for men who work with women who are strong like myself, you can't let your ego say, oh, well, I'm not going to let her upsell me. We focused on each other's strengths. His strengths were in the office, in the finances, which I hate. And I was the person, the go-getter, the person, if something was wrong in a process, I love to like try and fix it because I think that's the pharmacist in me. And we're both very humble. We came from humble beginnings and we led with love. But so
Brilliant.
but these are in the course. And look, there's no course that you're gonna buy out there that is gonna guarantee you millionaire status. But it's like reading a book. You read one thing in a book that could change the course of how you think. And if you take that one little action, you can make you successful. I share so many secrets in this course. It's a lot of edutainment, a lot of storytelling, because I'm not a university teacher. I want to teach you through my failures and what worked and what didn't.
Let's talk about relationships for a second.
Yes.
Because, all the marketing in the world, like it always comes right back to that one relationship or two that helps blossom the business, of course, or multiple relationships. And often today it's kind of like Tinder with relationships, like next relationship, next relationship, next relationship. But when you look at successful entrepreneurs, like typically, no, they have some core moms in your situation. They're like, those folks have, your back, you have their back, and it's strong relationships. And a lot of times a lot of people don't see that behind the scenes with businesses. So talk about relationships for a matter.
Yeah, relationships. Let's talk about loving our team because, they always say patient first. But for us, we said team first. Our patients will come first if you put your team first. And so building relationships, it takes 3 minutes to have a conversation with someone and make them feel, that they're worthy of your time. So they're like, oh my God, you're so nice. You're the owner and you're so nice. I'm like, yes, because I'm a human being. And how we built those relationships with our team, we had an open, honest communication. If they didn't like a process, they're like, Richelle, that process is stupid. Tell me. If you're going to have a problem, you got to bring a solution. And when we implemented their solution, they felt valued, they felt listened to. And so number one key to our success was having a relationship with our team. Don't get me wrong. You can't be too friendly either, because the minute that you need to reprimand them, but they know it comes from love, right?
Right.
And then building relationships is give. It's true. Like, be such a giver that when you ask somebody for something, they're gonna be like, oh my God, Richelle, you've done so much for me. Absolutely, I'll do that for you. And be genuine, because I can smell a fake person from a mile away. And I think
so. How do you find the fakes? Because there's a lot of fakes out there today with social media. Right? You got a lot of fake accounts out there. Like, oh, I got 1 million followers. I'm like, yeah, your picture got like 7 likes. The numbers don't add up.
Yeah.
Right. And, a lot of people are believing that these metrics are all real on social media. And we know that's not true. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, most successful entrepreneurs, that I see, over age 50, let's say,
Yeah.
they don't have big social followings,
Right.
because they were always so focused on their business last 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. Even the founder of Celsius, like he's got like a couple hundred followers on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a couple thousand on LinkedIn. Right. So like, how do you spot the fakes? Because it's getting harder today.
It is getting harder. I really do believe by doing your research, like going through some of their reels, who is validating them as a thought leader? That's huge because I'm not nowhere near 50. Fine, I'm 42. I don't care. I look 21, so it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have that many followers, but I'm not letting that define me because I know that I got on Good Morning America on national TV. They wouldn't have gotten me on there if I was a fake. I built something. And like you mentioned, I didn't have time to share my stories, my routines, 10 years building the business because the house was burning down. My kids were in diapers. So how do you spot the fakes, especially on social media? Because I do this a lot. I'm like, what do they really know about coaching?
Sure.
Right. Is by seeing who is validating them. And I want to see results. I don't want to see how much money you made. Well, what was your profit at the end of the day?
And a little hack that I've used is when you go on LinkedIn, when they have like all the recommendations, for me, what I pay attention to, especially when it comes to influencer marketing, are they talking about how great the person is, or are they talking about how great the result that they received was?
Ooh.
And so for me, that's always the way that you can sniff them out. If all they're talking about is, I loved working with them, they were so friendly, I had a great time hanging out, but they don't say, well, I lost 30 pounds or I got way more engagement or what have you, then to me, that kind of defines who that person is.
What I will say is just over time, like you could just tell, like, does the meeting start on time? Does the meeting always get rescheduled?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's just so many things with time management that these folks that claim to be the best entrepreneurs in the world and they're running 25 businesses. But over time, you're like, these things are not happening with other clients of mine,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't happen in my schedule, right? And a great example is like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? People have always said that like he is so good at being on time and every meeting that's in his schedule he takes, and anytime there is a conflict, it's resolved well in advance. And I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Jonathan's seen it. It's like whatever my schedule, I live by it. I live by alarms on my cell phone. And if I'm running behind schedule, I email the person, I call them, even emailing sometimes wrong because you're driving to an event in Miami. Let's say tonight, it's like the person's not sitting on email looking for your tardiness. Right. So I think over time, those fake coaches come out. And I experienced one actually in Boca recently. Like somebody called me and I was like, this sounds cool. I'll just go out to their office. And they were young in their 20s. And that's that person you're speaking of, like in videos with rappers and all this nonsense on planes. I'm like, but like, I have to ask myself, I'm like, I'm a financial advisor. I'm like, in 3 years, could someone build a net worth that large coaching? And I'm sitting there like, the numbers don't add up. Either A, he got an inheritance from someone. B, he built it through Bitcoin, right? And got big. C, like, there's a backer. Like it doesn't, you can't naturally, have a 50,000 square foot facility, all high end tech. And there's something called taxes. When you make that much money, you got to pay them. So I'm like, the story did not add up, but it did when the meeting started to not show up, canceled. Somebody called me in advance and it was just like, y'all are a bunch of kids.
Right.
You don't know how to run a business.
Oh my God. And you hit on the point. Entrepreneurs are very sensitive with their time to the T. How do you do it all? I don't do it all, but I prioritize everything. And like you said, I have alarms. If I know a meeting starting at 10:55, I'm already having my alarm there. And the number one worst impression is being late or missing a meeting. That will drive us insane because that just shows you don't respect the other person's time.
Right.
And as entrepreneurs, and you don't have a lot of time, your day is already booked. And when someone cancels or reschedules for, a bogus reason.
I would like to see colleges teach a course in this.
Yeah.
Because often I'm like, this is the missing part.
Right.
Like everyone talks about the studies with Chick-fil-A, right? We know like, hey, welcome. And like, just those direct communications, looking someone in the eye, shaking their hand, smiling. It's like, how's your day going? Which you talked about,
right?
On the earlier part of this episode. But like, why isn't it being like really taught more.
Yeah,
Right? Because we're losing it with social media. It's all text message.
All right, I'm going to put on my conspiracy theory hat for a second because I know the universe is waiting for it. So think about it, Jason. Why would the government benefit from teaching people how to be entrepreneurs when they want more employees? You don't think that maybe our school system purposely left out some gaps to make it a little bit more challenging for us to start our own businesses?
Schools, because my show is with FAU, the shrimp tank. It's just like there's no one in charge. That's the actual issue.
There's no one in charge.
Yeah, because you go to one person, like, okay, we got to push it to that person. That person goes, well, I can't make a decision. We're going to that person. That person's nowhere to be found for a month. Right. So like there's no one in charge half the time. Right. And there's no accountability either.
Right.
You know, so most universities, it's a mess. Right. And of course you have private ones that are a little better sometimes at some of that stuff. But, you know, it's just what I see. There's too many departments, too many meetings about meetings. And then it takes like, you're like, okay, let's start a podcast at the university. Like, that's why I'm there. They couldn't do it themselves. And then I'm like, I'll do a podcast. You guys want to, do it together, but I'm going to get all the guests. I'm going to pay for everything. Right. But the reason why I pulled it off was because I didn't ask for money. Most people fail because they go to FE and be like, hey, it'd be great if you guys pay for everything. And I'm a great co-host and we'll do a podcast together. Right. But when I came and I said, I'm going to just give you everything, they're like, why? Well, this is too good to be true. Right. So that's how that's my trick for everyone listening.
And what I love about that, and I want to ask Richelle now, is you had this open space and you were like, why is nobody doing a podcast in here? Oh, wait, let me do it then.
Yeah.
Right. Richelle, have there been moments where you took the initiative and you did something kind of similar to that, where you're just like, I'm not going to wait for an invitation here. I'm just going to go after the thing because I just feel like that's so your energy.
Oh my God, that's so me. One thing that my mom taught me is like, you never take no for an answer and you go to the person who's going to say yes.
Love it.
And, there's a huge group down here that I was just like really trying to find the person to say yes so that we could build a true partnership together. And I went from city to city asking many different people, and it was such a challenge, but I finally got to the person who would say yes. I had a sit down interview, and as an entrepreneur, you're going to do what you have to hustle. The hustle is real, and you can't wait for it to fall on your lap. You have to think outside the box of how you're going to get what you need accomplished. And I think that's the key. And just to piggyback off what you were saying about accountability.
Yeah.
All right. This is what I see with a lot of businesses. There is no accountability. He did that. She did that. He did that. Like, and it's all the pointing fingers. And I agree with you. Like, I almost want to be a teacher again at a college to teach leadership, to teach manners. And these parents nowadays, and I'm going to say it, I'm a young parent, but here I go.
These parents nowadays.
Parents nowadays.
It's hard. I'm in Parkland, Florida, where I live. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Like, you want to board me? I'm like, no. I'm not going in there to see everyone bitch and complain.
Well, we see it in our office. You know who's the boss? The kids.
They are.
They are the boss. And they didn't want to brush their teeth. So now my husband's fixing 20 teeth in one seating. Who is the boss? Who's holding these children accountable to say hello when someone walks into your home, when you walk into another's home? I've had kids come to my house, no lie. They come in, they don't even say hi. My husband will stop them, bring them back to the door and say, hey, I'm Mr. Peña. Nice to meet you. And so like being a leader together with my husband has taught us to be a good leader with our kids. And I tell them all the day, every single day, you guys are going to stand out because all these little kids running around, they're not accountable. And we can go down a whole rabbit hole. This is not what the topic is about, but I'm so passionate.
No. But
it starts with parenting and the children. And then I see that because I frequently guest speak at FAU. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sitting there like, come on, put your phones down. I'm here to speak with you. And almost like I have to grab their attention and really, even educate them with the Owwll app. At sometimes we're doing a project with a class right now where the students are sitting in on our podcast, The Shrimp Tank, and then they get to call our past guests right on the Owwll app, one-on-one. And you just see them like, well, I like texting, right? Yeah. So then I'm telling the professor, I go, they're never going to make any calls on this app. There's only one way to pull this off, make it a requirement.
Yes, exactly.
And then they do that. And going back to like the children's, like, it's not okay to just not brush your teeth. It's like, we're not leaving the house until you brush your teeth.
Exactly.
Right? When did you get this decision? Or a great example, and I see this in my household. We show up on 441, which like there's a Starbucks. There is
I love that Starbucks.
there is in Parkland. I'm talking in. What happens is there's a Starbucks, there's a Jersey Mike's, and a pizza spot, right? And then all of a sudden the kids want all of it. They're like, one person wants this, one person wants that. I'm like, no, we're going into the bagel store and we're all eating there together.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys don't get a decision. I'm like, are you paying for the bagel? So don't worry about it. So you just have to sometimes put your foot down, but it's missing in society today. Right?
Yeah, it's totally missing in society. And when you are trying to find other professionals to work with, you want to make sure that they're accountable, that they are being validated by results, and that they truly love what they do. Because if they're doing it for the money and then they just start spitting bills at you, it's like, come on.
Well, this is perfect timing because we're going to now do our part of the show where we call people live on the Owwll app. And what's really cool is Owwll does a lot of these things that you're speaking about. You could build a one-on-one relationship with somebody, but it holds everyone accountable because you don't have their cell phone number, right? It's all in-app calls. Then reviews are posted after the call. So people can't just fake this stuff. The results show. So here's Debbie Golden, right? And we could click 109 reviews. Every single person has left her a 5-star review. So when we look at her background right here, we could see everything and we could see she's legitimate. She's got a good cover photo. She's got videos. And, too often, like people are just messing around with cover photos. They're messing around with their bio, right? But Debbie has real results, 100 plus 5-star reviews. Wow. So her phone's ringing right now while we're doing that. Jonathan, anything to share while we're waiting for Debbie to join us on the show?
Yeah. I actually got a chance to check out Richelle's course. And one thing that I really love about it is, at least for me, I really struggle with delegating. I really struggle with inspiring my team. And then having access to this, I've just been able to see, some of the gaps that I was missing. And we'll talk about it more, but I guess we have.
Hey, Debbie, you are live on the Owwll podcast. Are you okay being recorded?
That's awesome. I'm actually in a car on the way to an airport, so this is perfect timing.
Perfect. Well, say hello to someone you know quite well.
Bap.
I know. I haven't seen him for so long. How are you?
I am doing great. We are having a complete ego death. We're going through a bunch of things, but we are here and we're rocking it.
Debbie,
that's good.
Debbie, can you share in under 30 seconds a little bit about yourself and what you do? So our guest today has a little bit more info about your background.
Sure, a little bit. I am a recovering corporate America exec that started my own entrepreneurial little business in digital marketing. And now my goal is to help people monetize their passion through digital marketing and automating their systems and selling on social media. So I love helping women get out of that 9-to-5 corporate handcuffs that they feel like they're attached to and kind of walk and monetize their passions. So that's exactly what I do. How was that? Was that 30 seconds?
Perfect. You nailed it.
Wow. I need lessons.
Someone taught you that.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I want to hire the person who taught you how to do that in 30 seconds or less.
I think now I've been doing it for a while. At first I was like stumbling all over because I wasn't quite sure what to say. But once you actually just start doing it for a while, it just gets easier. So yeah, but no, I have been so blessed to find a way to finally feel like I can serve others and help, where in corporate America, even though I was extremely successful, I literally helped 0 people. So to be able to be in a situation where I'm making nice income and then helping other women do the same is so fulfilling for me and my heart and my soul. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful situation I wound up in. So yeah, it's been wonderful.
I love it. I love the passion. See, she has it. Like when I hear people, and especially my name is Richelle. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It was so great to hear your 30-second intro because mine took an hour to say what I did.
We're at 41 minutes on the show right now. Not so bad. Not so bad.
And I love the passion. I love your story, and happy. I'm looking forward to connecting on Owwll.
Yeah, that would be great. I go live. I'm pretty much, I think in the morning I have regular office hours. So anytime, just reach out. I'm on.
Awesome. I have a question. What is the number one pain point that people come to you for, like when they call you? Because you got a lot of great reviews.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Like, is there a
Yeah.
commonality between all the people who contact you?
There is. I mean, well, the demographic on Owwll is different than the demographic for me on social media. I feel like on Owwll, there's a lot of people in the SaaS industries, whether it's coaching or helping people that way. So for the Owwll demographic, I have found that a lot of people are doing these businesses, but they don't really have a super great system to automate their business, which would actually elevate them to just, I guess, a higher level so that they can kind of just really focus on doing what they're called to do and then just let the system run in the background. But on social media, my demographic is literally women who are honestly just flipping done with the 9-to-5 lifestyle. They're just done, so it's two kind of different demographics, but so I would say those are the two pain points between the Owwll and the social media demographic.
Well, I can definitely relate with that. I worked corporate world 12 hours a day and I was done. I was done too. Well, thank you. And I'll definitely connect with you on the Owwll app.
That sounds great. Thank you for calling, you guys. Have a good one.
Take care, Debbie.
Take care,
All
Deb.
right, thanks.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Okay, will be your 110th 5-star review.
110th? That's yours or mine?
That's hers. Look at this.
Debbie's?
Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Debbie's outpacing you. You have to do another 25-hour podcast.
Listen,
I
brought you Debbie for the record, so you're welcome.
Look, actually, 120 calls and 110 reviews now.
Oh yeah, no, she's great. She's great.
Okay, let's call somebody else. Okay, we're gonna go in here and let's pick Krista. And boom, keep talking while we're ringing.
From Orlando.
So something that you covered in the chorus that I wanted to talk about that I thought was super interesting, Richelle, is business love languages.
Oh.
Now, I've heard the love languages. Are you familiar with the love languages, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
It is going to change your life.
Yes. It's the way that you give and receive love. So go ahead. You could get into it. So do you feel like there are elements of that can parallel to business?
Oh my God. Yes. I love the 5 love languages. I read it before I got married. Actually, it was given to me as a gift and it was a game changer in my marriage. We've been married for less than 20 years now, been together for 20 plus years. And the secret is speaking somebody else's love language, like what makes them tick, what makes their love tank tick. And this is also really relatable to business. When you have to really get to know your team and what makes them happy. What's the feedback that they like to receive? Do they like being told, John, great job? I love that.
The pizza party. Don't do the pizza party.
Yeah.
No pizza parties, please.
Right.
No.
So that's words of affirmation. Or do they like, a little gift card, a bonus? What drives them? And when you can figure out every single team member, what makes them tick, that's how you know their business love language, and it just fuels them and empowers them to do more of it, even if they made a mistake. The way that you speak to them also helps to say, you know what, I made this mistake. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make up for it, and then it makes them turn around because you've spoken their love language.
I'm obsessed with this idea, so please support me in this. In the comments, say that you want a book of this. Say that you want a book of this, and if there's enough, maybe Richelle will feel inspired and we can do a book.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's key to life, business, relationships. You have those friends where you give them hugs and they're like, don't hug me.
So
that means they're
maybe
not.
They need the pat on the back, not a physical pat on the back, but a word, a word of affirmation.
Right. Or, like, so some people don't like to be hugged, or, for anybody listening, someone who's going to wash your car, clean your dishes, like that's definitely not me. So that's called acts of service. And same thing, at work is, let me do the photocopies for you instead. And they're like, no, I got this. I could do this myself. So it's really understanding the 5 languages that people speak. And that's also taking a personality test. In our business, every single person that we hired, whether they were front desk, the clinical staff, we made them do a DISC assessment test. And this is so that we knew what made them tick and also where to put them. So for example, the front desk person, they can't be this highly closed person who doesn't like interaction, because they're not going to be the one that's going to say, good morning, welcome to our office, right? And someone like me, you can't put me in accounting. I'm a closet, I mean, because a pharmacist, right? I got to make sure all the medicine's right. I had to train myself to be very, focused and analytical, but that's not where I shine.
Right.
Where I shined was with people.
Right.
And so anybody who's running a business, when you have, it doesn't mean nobody wants to come to work and do a bad job. They might just be on the wrong seat of the bus. And the minute that you move them, they excel. And you're like, thank God I didn't fire them. Trust me, this has happened to us, quite a few times, where they're really nice. We want them. We obviously hired them for a reason. They're just in the wrong seat the minute we move them.
All right. So who do we have here now?
Hey, Krista, you are live on the Owwll podcast. Are you okay being recorded?
All right, let's do this.
Okay, Krista, can you tell our audience in approximately 30 seconds or less a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. I have two big things that I work on, but I work with coaches and experts to help them gain more visibility and exposure through, one is list building. So getting them more leads consistently so they can get their message out to more of the world. And the other part is podcasting. I work with podcasters.
10 seconds.
And one of our favorite ways is through the Podcasters Cruise, an annual The Best Live event.
Cruise? We're going on a cruise, Jonathan.
We're going on a cruise.
You're here with Jonathan Palmer and Richelle.
How you
Richelle's
doing?
Yes. When is this cruise? And is Jonathan invited? I know I was invited at Podfest Expo.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank
So
you.
this year of 2024, the Podcasters Cruise is happening October 12 through 19, sailing out of Port Canaveral, Florida, and hitting a full week in the Caribbean with amazing people.
Richelle, are we going? Did this just happen? Is this the bet?
Owwll.
We're in Florida, so
going on
the
this
port
cruise?
is like 10 minutes away from here.
We could do this.
That's right. No excuse. Yeah, we're podcastersatsea.com. We'll get you all the details. Pick
What
your
a
cabin.
niche. Look at that.
Get registered.
Podcasters at sea. Richelle,
I
you have
love
a
that.
question mark?
Yeah, I have a question. So you help people build lists, and is this through email, social media? What's been the most effective way?
I love this question.
Or is it tailored to that person's industry? Because different industries do
Yeah.
different things.
Absolutely. Like, such a great question. So let's talk about a lead magnet. So is everyone familiar with a lead magnet? It's a sample of the work that you put out to the world, and somebody's like, oh yeah, I want to know more about that tip sheet or that 5 ways to change my life that you're offering. And I give you my name and email address. And then that puts me on your email list. That's how you grow your subscriber list. Is everybody on the call familiar with the lead magnet?
I learned it a couple months ago. So yes, now I
Okay.
do.
That is insane that you just
Cool.
learned that. One chat. I have to throw a weird one out there just because I'm a marketer. And what do we do about link rot and the dead internet? The fact that like people are, the amount of people that are actually logging into a desktop and typing things in and like that, it's really starting to decay. So to kind of like piggyback off of that question, what are we doing to get people to even get to that point? For me, the only thing that's worked is just massive amounts of outreach. It's a numbers game, but I'm really struggling myself in that way, to continue to get people to sign up to email lists. Cause people, the clients are becoming, or the prospects are getting more sophisticated. So what are we doing to kind of eradicate that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly my partner and I founded Infinite List. And that's exactly what we do is help the lead magnet get exposure through warm leads. So a lead magnet can be hosted in a lot of different places. People spend a ton of money on Facebook ads to get that lead magnet seen on Facebook, but that's actually a really huge investment. And you have to be super dialed in and be able to fork out the cash to even get to a decent cost per lead, like dollar per lead on that. So what we do at the Infinite List is take the lead magnets and we make them into collections called giveaways. And so it's a curated collection on theme or topic. So we might be talking all about marketing and visibility. And I would collect from experts that are in that field that have their lead magnet. And the 20 of us that are sharing our lead magnets will then share it with our audiences. So it's bringing exposure. The people that know me, I've now introduced them to everyone to know you, and all of you on the call. So it's a way of getting a lukewarm leads, new people to look at your lead magnet that can now enter your email list. So it's us getting that exposure out there for you. We do it in a membership.
I love that because, giveaways, they're not a new thing. And I love how you were able to turn giveaways and create a business and a strategy behind it, because I always used to go to McDonald's as a kid and fill out those little giveaways, and I won like dinosaurs and movie tickets.
We all want the Happy Meal.
Right. And so, I mean, in our pediatric dental offices, we also had to do giveaways, incentives just to get people to come to the dentist. So I love that you're doing giveaways to create your lead list. That's fabulous.
Yeah. Love the angle.
We have to talk. We got to do giveaways to get people on Owwll. Come on,
there we
Krista.
go. Yeah, tell us more.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such you're right that we took something that was old and we've redefined it into a membership community. So we're doing it supportively. Now our team builds all of the pages. We do all of the back end for everyone. And it just gives you as the expert the opportunity to go, yeah, please get my awesome lead magnet seen by more people. And the Infinite List does that.
And speak about podcasting for a moment.
Yeah,
right?
Let's do it.
Too often people should not have a podcast, in my belief, right? They're everyone under the sun. Oh, I'm having another show, another podcast. And it's just like, what's the purpose of it? You have a main purpose, I'm sure, but kind of speak to how you utilize podcasting and the benefits that come from it.
Yeah, it's really, really important that when you have a podcast and when you're guesting on a podcast, that you have an intention of why you're talking, not just to tell your story, but if you're using your podcast as a monetization strategy to build your business, to bring more people into your world and share your expertise, then you got to have a strategy right out of the gate and have an easy way for, as we're just talking, for them to connect with you. And actually, we teach a strategy where you can put the lead magnet in there. So is you're like, hey, grab more information on the top ways to start a podcast, and find that link.
Richelle, do you have a podcast coming?
I don't, but I think I'm like, no.
I feel like you're ready.
Yeah, I think you are too. It's such an easy way to create content. How could you not?
I actually just got asked to be a co-host for one of the a women's podcasts down here, and so you'll find it on my social media. I did my first podcast co-hosting to see if I even liked it, because I don't want to commit. Something we were talking about earlier is, I'm really big on my word. Your integrity is everything in business, and I had to be open and honest. Look, I'm building another business, but I want this opportunity because I don't know what doors it's going to open. And I love meeting other amazing women doing things. And I love conversating and being real and sharing real stories. So, I'll come back anytime.
Is your podcast going to be online, in person?
No, it's through, Instagram podcast stream.
Online.
Yeah, it's a big women's organization down here in South Florida. Actually, all over the world, they have 2,500 women entrepreneurs who are part of the group.
Oh, nice.
And I'm one of the co-founders. Like, I'm just very engaged. I love to talk, and I'm not a boring interviewer.
So this is real. You have one coming.
Oh,
Share with me. I want
real.
to hear more about this.
Yeah,
Florida too, Central Florida, but I definitely want to connect with you.
Yeah, it's the Entreprenistas League. Have you guys heard of it?
The CEO of Entreprenista was at Podfest Expo.
Okay,
with
Stephanie
us on stage. Yeah.
Oh my God, her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Wait, time out. I didn't know this.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Small world, Jason.
Small
Small world.
I mean, it just happened 2 days ago.
A lot of her
That's why.
business, was built off the foundation of podcasting.
Right. Yeah. I love her, and we're just generally like connected. And I'm just, when I love something and I like really rally behind it, I really push it forward. And I was in the community, and I talk every month to founders who want to be part of the Entreprenistas community. And then she gave me this opportunity without even me knowing it. I was like, what? Me? Why? But that's where it goes from. How do you know you're real? Like, game recognizes game. If you're gonna run a business and you don't know nothing about business, then
good luck.
Well, that's awesome. Krista,
Thank
thank you for joining us on the Owwll podcast today.
Oh my gosh, Jason, it's been my pleasure. And I look forward to seeing all of you on the Podcasters Cruise. It's going to be an amazing event. So much to talk about, so much to share.
I will call you and discuss that in more detail. And I'm going to try to get the two people on the show today join me on this podcast. On this,
There's
cruise.
only
Yeah.
one way.
I love
if,
podcasting. I like cruising. So
yes.
sounds like a good fit.
Podcasters at sea.
Only if we're
Dot
going to
com.
Bora Bora. No.
Bora Bora.
Let's leave it out of Florida. It will take
Not
a
for
long.
Florida.
It will take a long time to get to Bora Bora, guys. Have you been to Bora Bora?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
I want to go back. That's all.
I went there for my honeymoon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like
St. Regis. It was beautiful. They did the movie there, of course.
yes, yeah. Actually, that's the movie that made me want to go to Bora
Yeah, me
Bora.
too.
What movie?
It's
What
like,
movie is this?
Same thing.
Honeymoon, the funny movie.
Yeah, yeah.
that one? Like
I'm
when
blanking out because they played it every
yeah.
moment I was at the hotel.
yeah, and
This
I was
was on repeat. I'm
Yeah.
like, we get it.
with that guy, the funny
Yes.
guy. Oh, honeymooner. I don't know. They're a bunch of
I don't think I
couples.
was born yet.
Yeah, you weren't born yet, actually,
wasn't
because I
born
was
yet.
like 20
One
something.
group's going to the single
Yeah.
island and one's going on the other side. Come on.
Yeah.
Survivor?
Vaughn.
Vaughn, yeah, the
It's on the tip of my tongue.
me
Vince
too.
Vaughn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vince Vaughn.
Correct.
Yeah, and they do
Wedding
yoga.
Crashers?
Couples retreat. There we
Couples
go.
retreat. Yes.
There we go.
And so I told my husband, I need to go there. We made it happen. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sounding very like women, but no,
Yeah,
he's also
fine.
very strong. Don't get this twisted. We're both alphas. But then when we sold the business, I was like, I want to take my kids there. And we took my kids and my parents to thank my parents for all the support, all the late nights. Can you babysit my kids real quick? I just need an out. And that was like,
It's beautiful. It is
yeah.
beautiful. Okay, we're at the final part of this podcast where every week we do a bet.
All right.
So,
What's
Jonathan?
the bet?
You better make this bet big,
I got to make this bet big.
right? You know a lot about her,
Ugh.
right? And typically, it's that she has to do some type of action on Owwll with the
Okay.
community.
Okay.
Right? She loves building communities.
Right.
Right? We really got to make sure, this bet is large. She said
Gotta be a
earlier,
big
in the show,
one.
she wants usher tickets.
You're scary.
Usher
She
tickets.
wants-
She
Okay.
just started a podcast
I have to
show.
make the bet.
I
So
don't
I'm
know.
making the bet.
You
I'm
got- yeah,
deciding.
what
I'm
does
deciding the
she have to-
reward.
We could, yeah.
Or you're deciding the
Well,
reward.
you have to start with the bet. Like, does she have to do like 10 calls by next Wednesday outbound?
10
Does she have to
outbound
take
calls.
X amount of inbound? Does she have to join one of our brand ambassador Zooms?
Be
and,
nice.
And
I think it would be
share some
really
knowledge?
the
I
best
don't know.
thing. The best thing that I think is I want to see one call with a business that could really use this kind of assistance right now. A business that might be a little bit challenged on LinkedIn. If you guys are one of those, please put it down, put your name down, something like that. See her help a business elevate something within the business, whether it's a process, whether it's just coaching or getting like a better growth mindset. See her speak to one person and get one really nice review. Because for me, I could do 10 calls and get all mediocre reviews, or I could really impact one person and they take some actionable step. Then I feel like I've really made impact. So to me, that's what I'm
Just
saying.
one. But then
One quality.
I'm not letting her get away with just
Quality.
one call. So then we got to do this. She got to
Okay.
do that one call, but we need a testimonial video. What occurred? right?
Okay.
I need follow up.
Deal.
We
Deal.
spoke,
Deal.
because a call could be just 10 minutes and no real actions were taken.
Right. Right.
So the call could last an hour for all we know. But she's
Right.
going to really go into the app. It could be 1 to 2 people that she spoke to today,
right.
right? And really follow up. But then I want to see a video, and that video must be complete by next Wednesday. 'Cause
Okay.
we know if there's no deadline,
Yeah.
Right.
then it's always like
Doesn't
next
happen.
week, next week. So one call and help that individual with something and speak about it in detail on a short reel. And
So
has
wait,
to be posted by
I have to
Wednesday.
call them or they call me?
You're gonna have to call them.
Okay, and I'm
because-
gonna help them.
I mean, technically, you could take calls and they call you too,
Right.
because they're gonna read your profile and it's gonna pique some interest. So we could go either or, and then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But we wanna share that one story with our world, right?
Okay.
But all it takes is one to win this bet.
Okay. So I have
Pretty easy to win.
Yeah. I mean,
But a lot of people won't post, like, oh, I forgot to
Right.
post that video. I never did it. You'd be surprised.
like,
right?
how many seconds does the video have to be?
A minimum of a minute.
A
Minute minimum. I mean, that's a long time
That's
to
a
talk.
long time.
I'd say.
No, but you're talking about a story about.
Oh,
It's
that's
hard to
true.
tell a whole story about how you help someone in under. a minute.
Okay.
I know.
Why don't we 45 seconds?
For minimum 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Of course.
All right,
can
you
make
got
it
yourself a
as long
deal.
as you want.
It could be longer.
Okay, now if you complete this mission,
Mhm.
you get something from us, right?
Yeah.
You and Stephanie, she's got a nice studio already, I believe, but you could use this studio. I could make an intro to my co-host teaches class at FAU for entrepreneurship. He'd love to have you come in and speak. There's
would
about
love
30,
that.
40 students.
Mhm.
We're going with that.
That'd be an easy one for me to shoe in.
Yeah.
Right.
She's always looking for entrepreneurs there.
I want to pay it forward. So for me, it's
Okay, the students it is.
Mhm.
Okay. There it is. The deal is made.
The
You
deal
gotta-
is
he's gotta
done.
shake too.
Wednesday.
Wait. It's not over. I think it's his first time co-hosting. Can we make a bet against him?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Let's
No.
do this, Richelle.
No.
Your turn because
Producer.
he hasn't been using Owwll enough.
Cut the
He has
camera.
not. He comes in here. He'll do like 30 calls in a month because he's on the show. But then I'm like, you got to do it off the show, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
so-
why don't we do the
so-
same bet? Because I
Same
want to make
bet?
sure that who
I
who
like
wins
this.
for who wins first.
I like this. I like
You
this,
know-
Jonathan. Same bet. And what would you like if you win?
The cruise.
If I win, okay, Jason, if I win,
Yes.
you have to dye your hair black.
My hair.
Yes.
It's a little gray. The other videos you did, it was quite long, and I was like, oh, geez, I do look quite gray in this one.
All right,
I
that's the
aged
deal.
by 10 years.
All right,
I
so-
got my beard black. I do that.
I like the contrast. I want them to see it's party on the top, wisdom on the bottom.
no
Yep.
ddying hair. That's too easy. Come on, do
That's
something different. Do
that's too
something
easy.
different.
Okay, fine. I
'Cause if we're
want
going there, I'm going like you gotta shave your head.
half of it is shaved right now. Don't ask where.
I know you like that long hair. We'll shave it. We want to go deep. Make these
Okay,
bets bigger and
So
bigger.
the bet. So what am I gaining?
Yeah, if you do it
If I do this, okay.
by next Wednesday,
Right.
There's a deadline. Today's
All right.
Thursday.
So I want to throw a LinkedIn After Dark podcast party in this office on a Friday night.
okay, what does this mean? Like, I don't want 100 people in this office. It's very expensive equipment. Is it
We're
online? Like you're taking calls on
taking calls
Owwll?
on Owwll.
It's streamed on LinkedIn.
I
Obviously,
think
we
that
could
would
do
be a good idea. Yeah,
Okay.
and we do it the entire night,
So
overnight,
so you want to start at like 8 p.m. at night and then
go till
I
8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I think so.
Our producer is loving this.
Oh
She's
my
looking
I know
at
she
us
is.
like, yeah, this is.
Does
she's
she
like
have
us-
to be here too?
No, she's
No,
not
of
here
course
on
she
Fridays.
does.
She's not here on
It's
Fridays.
just her and I locked in a room for 12 hours.
She's like, nope, next.
Don't take
So
them
if you
She's a
get
great
this,
listener.
but what are there people coming to the podcast?
There's gonna
or is
be-
it all streamed
There's
online?
going to be lines. There's going to be lines. It's going to be great.
Lines of Celsius.
That's what I meant, Jason. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Great times.
okay, I just have to put a minimum amount of people in here at a time is five to seven. Okay, like
There's
we're
no
not having
reason.
a
I don't have
party
that many friends,
where-
Jason.
I will agree to it under one consent
Okay.
that you make yourself available on Owwll to take inbound calls during that whole entire night.
Oh yeah, we'll be live streaming. We'll be live
streaming
streaming.
to the LinkedIn audience you serve,
Yes.
but then people have to call in to get in touch with you through Owwll.
Deal.
Is that fair? So
That's
that way you got consistency of people calling in from your streams and everyone else. And then and Richelle has to be present at least for 1 hour during that show.
What the hell? You're not driving here at 8 p.m. I got kids.
Deal? Deal?
She'll call in.
I'll call in.
She'll-
I'll
she'll
call
call
in.
in.
You're part of this.
She'll
I'll
call
call
in.
in. I'll call
All
in.
right.
So
We're
call.
shaking on a call in.
Okay, I'll call in. I'll
We
call
all
in.
got
There
we
you
all
go.
got the deals. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. You want to talk to Richelle? She is now an expert on Owwll. So just go
Yes.
find
And
her.
an expert on LinkedIn, by
I'm
the way.
so
She's
excited.
everywhere. Not hard to find. We'll put it in the show notes, of course, and reach on out. Build a relationship because you never know.
Yeah.
You know, you have one relationship and then it turns into Good Morning America, turns into the Shark Tank, whatever it might be. So
That's how it happens.
thank y'all. We'll be back next
Bye.
Wednesday at around 4 p.m. next week. Take care.